Welcome. Welcome to Watching with Styles. We are back again. Man. I am it's gonna be an interesting one because I wonder if the comments are gonna be crazy or there's not gonna be comments because we've all packed it in. Interesting. Man, this is what's up, Steven? This is a this is crazy. Here's why it's crazy. We haven't scored two touchdowns in SEC play for a while now. And we score five. And we gave up way more. It's it is you know, I have been saying this since week 2. And I am one of the people who hate to be right. Because sometimes me being wrong is better. I said in week 2, Ty Bryan had those 2 picks. I'm like, the defensive backfield is a problem. I said it preseason. People ask me, what was the thing that I was most worried about? And I said the defensive backfield. We've had some games with some interceptions. What's up, John? We've had some games with some interceptions from the safeties. And I will say this. We've had some pretty good interceptions. JQ, first interception against Toledo, was a nice interception. I have said from the start, though, the group was a problem. I said last week that, in essence, it was fool's gold. Texas had people running open quite often. They just couldn't connect. And what's frustrating is that that's my position group. That's the position I played. And when you have 2 corners, not one, when you have 2 corners that are unable to win one-on-one battles with outside receivers, you have no out. You have 0 out. The only out you have is to replace them. That's a as a defensive coach, that's the only option you have is to put in a new guy. That's it. You have no other options. There's no magic coverage you can call. There's no magic play you can call. If they're getting beat one-on-one, if you blitz 6, they're going to get beat one-on-one. It wasn't like we were playing zone and they were getting beat. Because then you can say, well, why don't you blitz and play man? They were playing man. They were playing basically. We played a lot of, which was interesting. What we played a lot of single high man under, which deviates from what we've done in the past, and I was shocked by that. So basically, we said we can hold up in man to man against Tennessee this year, and it did not work. The when you can't cover a simple look, there are situations as at a corner where a guy can just out athlete you, just jump on top of your head. I mean, they happened to me in the All-Star game, in the blue-gray game. Guy from San Diego State. He just mossed me. I was in perfect position. I was where I was supposed to go. We was playing man. I played very good coverage, but the guy just out-jumped me. There's nothing I can do. Those kind of things happens to every corner. Everyone. The problem is when you get beat, and you get beat like you just got beat. That's the problem, is the getting beat the way we got beat. And that's tough, man. That's tough sledding. When you cannot hold up on the perimeter. And the thing about it is, like I said in my cut-ups, is like they spread you out so far horizontally, you can't double. Like you cannot help a corner. And if you're going to, you have to roll to a side. And they're stretched out so far, it's hard to roll coverages. And even if you was able to roll coverages, both of them could. Neither one could handle it. See, Steven, that's the whole thing, right? Steven said, since there's some people who can't read, I would say this. Well, I guess I can use YouTube. Steven said, Brad said the loss was on him, leaving those guys so much one-on-one. Look, I like it when coaches try to save their players. I love it. But like I said last week, if you remember last week, I said that game was on Stoops' head. Period. Take the damn points. This game was on the secondary, primarily the corners. It's on their head. We can say a lot of things, but when you are not going to hold Tennessee to zero, you're not going to hold them to 13 points. Just put it to you that way. Tennessee, I don't know what their point totals for the year, but I guarantee you they haven't scored less than 20-some points. So to expect our defense to hold them to 13 is ridiculous. So they are going to score. The thing about it is you got to continue to make them snap the ball before they score. And we gave up 230 plus yards on like 5 passes. Can't happen. Can't happen. So when that happens, you put yourself in a bind. And like White said, you have no other option. When they can't cover, they can't cover. Like, here's the deal. Even if they're in zone, there's an element of man to zone, right? It would have been different if the inside receiver was making the great catches. It was the outside receiver. A lot of times, even though it's zone, those corners have those guys anyway. And they continually got beat. When I say get beat, when you're a step or two behind the receiver, you're beat. Now, if you in his hip pocket and it's a back shoulder throw, or it was a perfect throw, or those are things you have to live with as a player and a coach. But when you are beat, that is when it causes problem. AJ said, random question, but what or who do you watch when you're watching the game live? That is a great question, AJ. Shit, that is damn. So AJ, I will say this. Um, I don't watch the. I don't. That's hard to say though. I really don't watch the trenches. Now that you ask, it. What do I look at? I look at the entirety of the play. And you know what? This is. I have an idea pre-snap of what the play is gonna be, and I base it off of that. There are like plays where I don't know. Man, that is now that I'm starting to think about it. There are plays that I don't see everything, but then I see it on film. This is wow. I really do this. Damn, AJ, you hit me. So as a defensive back and former quarterback, what I look at, because down when I said I don't look at the line, I'm like, damn, you're lying, knucklehead. I look at the line to see if it's run or pass. And from the angle you have, the Skycast is the best. From the angle I have, it's kind of sideline and it's kind of easy. It's easier to see when it's run or pass. Now I sometimes get fooled on RPOs, but I then dictate run or pass, and then that's when I zoom in or I lock in. I'm locking in on the line blocking, or I'm locking in on the perimeter guys. So, damn, I really do play like so. I'm looking at it like I'm a defensive back, recognizing run or pass, and then watching the game that way. Hey, yeah, that's a damn good question because I never thought about it until right now. So there are some things. That's why the end zone cut is so good for me because I can see everything. Now you obviously can't see the outside receivers, but I can see interiorly everything that's happening and how it's happening and the rate it's happening at the perfect viewpoint because I can see run or pass pretty quickly. And when you read run or pass, then your eyes go to the things that you need to watch. Huh. You made me think just then, AJ. So, um, hmm, that is. So I'm looking from the O line out, I guess, AJ. Um, I'll just say this and I tell my guys, try to tell my safeties, because this is what I learned, and I said this in a tweet. Boy, we are going in a tangent. I said this in a tweet a week or so ago because I can remember someone said something about that's what you hear for. That's damn right, AJ. I can't remember. Was it shit? I think it was a quarterback. Was it Kurt Warner? Was it Dan Orlovsky? I can't remember. Someone said something about no. It was Cam Newton. It's fucking Cam Newton. Cam Newton said that the backup quarterback helped him learn how to be a professional. And I tweeted, I said, and I should do more. I'm a horrible friend, to be honest with you. I am a hermit. I don't really play well with others. I've been known, I'm a introvert, although it's kind of weird that when people hear me say that. I was a college student that never went out. Like that was not me. So I really haven't given these guys their flowers. And I just recently gave my offensive coordinator in high school his flowers. Had to talk to him years, and I've been wanting to do that for years, and I finally did it last year or this year. But when I got to Kentucky, I want people to understand I was a quarterback that played defensive back. And when I got to Kentucky, we had 3 corners that influenced me more than they would ever imagine. And the crazy part about it is not like one on pull me aside and show me the ropes. It's just the way they prepared, how they went about things. And I'm gonna say it's not 100% positive, but it shaped me into the corner that I became. And the three guys is Willie Cannon, Don Robinson, and Adrian Sherwood. Three completely different people, three completely different techniques, three complete different ways of attacking practice, attacking games. I have so many damn stories I can say, but watching them and being the sponge that I am, I morphed a lot of all of their techniques into me because I really didn't know how to play corner, to be honest with you. I was just a good athlete. Now that I think about it, in high school, I just played because I was a good athlete. And when you get to college, that ain't the way to go. So learn some stuff, how to practice, how not to practice. Agent Sherwood was way faster than me. I couldn't use the speed, but I got some tips from him. Got some tips from Willie Cannon. I think Willie Cannon was the technician of the three, and Don Robinson was just that dude. So all of those, I took pieces of all of those guys, including what I already knew playing quarterback. Playing quarterback helped me so much at corner. And I mixed all that up, like I said in my tweet, and I made a perfect gumbo by taking pieces of each part of their game. And and I owe them so much, man. And I need to find a way to tell them in some way. But I owe them a lot of my career because I was able to learn from not just one, not just two, but three guys who could have been starters, and you only can start two. But we had three starters my freshman year at college at corner, and only two could start. Um, those guys showed me so much about how to prepare. Um, like I said, there are some things of what not to do, but I had to see it and what not to do, what that I couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't put that in my toolbox. It just was outside of my capacity. But watching those three guys play, man, was instrumental in me making it to all conference and getting drafted in the NFL. I owe them a hell of a lot. Tanner said, "Is Cutter here next year?" That's the $1 million question, Tanner. I don't know. Um, I will say this: since he's a Kentucky boy and has been a Kentucky fan, he says since before he was born. I think that lends us to have a greater opportunity to keep him. The only bad part about it is that, see, if the season, and the weird part about this season, y'all, it's weird and it's crazy, and we all are creatures of the moment, is no one expected us to win these three games in October. So for me, it's kind of crazy. The game that hurts is a South Carolina game. Like if you win that game, you're in a much better situation. And now you have an opportunity to potentially beat, if things were the vibe was better, you have a chance to beat Auburn and Florida. So you beat Auburn, Florida, Tennessee Tech. What are we now? Are we 2-5? Right? Shit, y'all. I gotta do some reconnaissance. I can't remember what we are. I think we're 2-5. Oh, and unless someone can tell me that. Well, I'm looking now. It's too late. We are 2-5. So here's the crazy question. You're 2-5. In my estimation, we should be 3-4, which is where I had us at this point. You win your next three games, you're 5-5. You should be 6-4. So being 5-5, y'all, is and the crazy part about it is it's not out of the realm of possibility. If you go win the next three games, you're 5-5. Because we all knew we was gonna lose these three games. if you were being preseason realistic, like I said, I thought we could win 6 or 7. But to win 7, you had to beat South Carolina. To win 6, beating South Carolina helped because then it doesn't put pressure on you so much after those 3 October games. So now you are behind the 8 ball. The crazy part about it is you can win the next 3 games and be 5-5. Because the thing that was the question mark was offense. And now this offense is starting to click. Probably literally $1 million, the $40 million question. If it wasn't for Clickbait Media, the story would be rebuilding, finding young talent on our roster, and finding an in-state quarterback. Yeah, I have, negativity sells, and when you have 2 feet out the door and you spin the block back, it's to be expected. Keep him, the 2 Millers, Will Rod, Jason Patterson. I'm gonna say, Tanner, all that you were saying is great, but you can't do shit without an offensive line. So that the Miller brothers and Will Rod and Jason Patterson and Cutter can be great, but you better have a decent offensive line. That's just the name of the game. Wheat Matt, what's up, Van? Been listening for a minute. What happens if Stein comes? Does he try to bring his quarterback? So here's my take on that, Wheat Matt. And I said this was that last night? Yeah, last night on the post-game show with Larry Glover. Is whomever is the next coach will have my support 1,000,000%. And he needs to be comfortable with whatever he does. I'm riding with the next coach whenever that happens. Just like I ride with the current coach. Because I know how hard it is to win an SEC game. And does he bring his own quarterback? It depends. Can he get one of those Oregon quarterbacks to come? I will say this. The way Cutter has played the last 2 games, I think an OC would potentially keep him. Now, the only problem is, can he bring in a guy who knows his system? Because as we all know, you better win now. You ain't got the time you had back in the day. You got to win tomorrow. And if you feel like you win tomorrow with a guy you have coached for a couple of years who knows how you run things and operate, it can happen. I just think as a potential head coach, the attractiveness about Cutter is he has 2 years. Well, potentially 3. 3 years as your quarterback. And when you don't have to worry about recruiting or portaling another quarterback for 3 years, that helps the progress of the offense, because you're not looking, you can develop a guy behind him. So that would be an attractive thing for a potential coach. And I'm going to say this, like I said on the postgame show, there are a lot of people talking about hiring an offensive-minded coach, hiring an offense this, hiring an offense that. You need to find a coach and a person who wants to coach at Kentucky first. That's the first thing, not position. You need a guy who wants to set a little bit of a foundation in Lexington, Kentucky. You want someone that is willing to stick it out and understand the warts of coaching at Kentucky. I feel like my first Stab is finding a coach that is coached in a league whose team has bottom half of talent in their conference, and they find a way to overshoot that talent level and win games against better talented team consistently in their conference. Those are the two big things for me. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna listen to anybody. Look, you shoot bullets at that's bad. You shoot darts at every coach on the board and make them say no. I mean, I know a lot of people probably will bark at this, but the first guy on my list is James Franklin. I don't think he comes. I feel comfortable saying I know he's not gonna come here. I feel strongly that he's probably not gonna come here. But that guy took Vandy to levels that was unheard of at the moment. And he can do the same thing at Kentucky. Now the climate has changed. You get 9 conference games in Louisville. So you get 10 games that are tough. You only get 2 gimmies, not 3. You only get 2. And you add a conference game. So that makes it very difficult. But that's my first guy. And then you go from there. I like Dan Mullen. I know John Summerall and Will Stein. I personally think we have a better chance at Will Stein than John Summerall. John Summerall is a Alabama native. I think if the Auburn people want him, although JD said a few weeks ago that he heard that the Auburn people don't want him. Now, I just heard today that LSU might want him. I think that's far-fetched, but that's what I heard today. Which leads to Stephen C. saying LSU fired their coach today. So here's the thing, man. Here's the crazy part: is comparisons a thief for joy. LSU won a national fucking championship in 2019. Don't compare us to LSU. Like just because LSU fired their coach, their standards are way different, and it should be. Florida State hasn't fired their coach. Mike Norville's still on a contract. So just think about that. I would prefer to keep. I think we all after these next 2 weeks. I think we all would like to keep him. Can't wait for your breakdown. How Nichols kept getting ate up. I like him, but look, 2 positions besides obviously quarterback that when you hear their name, it's a bad thing. That's corners and left tackles or both tackles, because when those position groups get beat, it's nasty. You know who the problem is. Wild card hire as head coach Gerard Parker. Don't think it happens, but if we get far enough, look, I can't remember what I had as my I know I did it in a group chat, and I can't remember really what the rankings list, but I know I had one guy I had on was Alex Golich, South Florida coach. I think that's one. Somebody said, damn it, what's the guy's name? The Georgia Tech offensive coordinator. I was like, that's a good 2. The tough part about it is I just hope we don't go the route of Nebraska, Florida State, Florida, where they have to go through 3 or 4 coaches before they find someone. Hiring coaches is a hard deal. Finding someone that not only fits your institution, but wants to be there, and it's a hard deal. And when it works, it's beautiful. When it doesn't, is a problem. No, Tanner, I get you. I look. Mark Stoops was a kind of off the radar hire too, and he proved that you can do things here that was unimaginable. If Gerald Parker is the guy, I don't look. I don't Tanner. Like I said, whomever is hired will get full support from me. I think I've shown my full support for Mark Stoops, and I didn't like the hire at the time. Whomever wears the hat, wears the universal control on Saturdays on the sideline, will get my support. It's a blind support because, like I said, I understand, and I know that's just how I roll as a former player. I know some other former players roll differently, and kudos, everybody. That's a great thing about America, right? You can go by your opinions or your opinions. The way I roll is that I won 15 games in 4 years. So I understand how tough it is. And for me to just automatically, oh, we should win 11 games a year is just not how I roll. So I'm always on the side of players more than plays. Because I have been on the field where great plays are called and we fuck it up. Like AJ just said, AJ's a former player. It's UK till I leave Earth unless we hire a scumbag as a coach. Here's the thing, AJ. Even a scumbag will have my support. I won't interact with him. I ain't like I interact with Stoops either. I did meet Coach Stoops once at Joe Kraft, shook his hand. But I want us to win. See, there is a segment of fandom that believes coaching. And I'm not part of that segment. I say players. Players make average coaches look elite. Shitty players make elite coaches look average. Like I go back to fucking Gene Chizik won a fucking national championship. Ed Ogeron won a fucking national championship. Those are not great head coaches. But both of those had generational talents on their team when they coached. Ed Ogeron had generational players on his team. Players win games. See, Matt said, you want to come back, go get Petrino. Petrino was a coach I wanted when they hired Mark Stoops. That was my number one guy. Y'all, I've said on here many times, and I'm going to start to break down in a second. I like Clark Lee. Had the pleasure of meeting Clark Lee in person. The reason why Vandy is winning game is because of Diego Pavea. Simple as that. The reason why LSU is losing games is because Nussmeier is not having a great year. The reason why Florida State is not winning games because Castellanos is Castellanos. He is not a quarterback you can put the game on his shoulders. Now, if you look at all the top teams, you need a quarterback. No, Indiana and Vandy do not have elite players, but they have elite quarterbacks. They have Indiana has Mendoza, came from California. He's an elite quarterback. He's probably the best quarterback in the class. And Vandy has Diego Pavea. If you look outside of them, their players are good, but there's not elite. It makes a difference. See, but Scott, did you watch the game? See that when you go stat watching, that's the problem. Go watch the game and see how his fingerprints is on that game. And Missouri, I would say this: if Drink doesn't fucking go for it on fourth down, and it's kind of weird. I'm saying it like that because I don't care who fucking wins. But if Drink doesn't go for it on fourth down, he takes the points. He probably gets to the playoff. He go for it on fourth down, he loses quarterback for the year. Tanner, I'm gonna be honest with you, Tanner. I don't know who Ryan Silverfield is. Like a lot of it's interesting that a lot of people know all these coaches. I don't really know all these fucking coaches. I know a handful, but I don't know who Ryan Silverfield is. I couldn't even guess. I do know who Summerall, Stein, and Golich are. I definitely know who they are, but I don't know who Ryan Silverfield is. You have to have intelligent players mixed with elite players. That's why. Look, John, you said it. Here's the thing. Because it's very interesting. When coaches say, that's when it gets, when coaches say Jimmy's and Joe's. Okay, Tanner, yeah. I like the Memphis coach. Yes. I'm on board with that. When coaches say Jimmy's and Joe's, it's not athleticism solely, because every team has athletic players. You're not on a Power 4 D1 team, which is why'd I have to say Power 4 and then D1. If you're on a Power 4 roster, you probably are athletic. To become a Jimmy and or a Joe, it's the combination, it's the fusing of great athleticism with high football IQ. When you have that, that's when you have a Jimmy and a Joe. It's the merging of your athletic ability with your brain. When you're able to merge those two characteristics is when you become a Jimmy and a Joe. You're not a Jimmy and a Joe because you have a 40-inch vertical. You can run a 4.2. You bench, like all those measurables doesn't automatically make you a Jimmy or a Joe. It's the fusion of intelligence with that. That's when you equal playmakers. That's when you have guys whom at key moments in games make plays. Those are the guys who, when the game is on the line, somehow they come up and make a game-sealing play or a game-winning play because their IQ is on another level and their focus is on another level. Their preparation is on another level. That's when you get Jimmys and Joes. That's when you go, that's that guy. You know, the last, and I know there's many more, but the guy who automatically comes to mind is Honey Badger. Tyrann Mathieu is the epitome of a Jimmy and Joe, and or Joe. The ability to lock in, the intelligence, the athleticism, the fearlessness, there is a thin line between being confident and being arrogant. And you have to straddle that line. There's a difference of being a great teammate and being an asshole. You got to straddle that line because you can't be friends with everybody. You got to straddle that line of, am I tilting too much to an asshole, or am I tilting too much to being player friendly too much? Cutter just had two great games. Steven said Cutter just had two great games against two tough defense. Nah, Tennessee's not a tough defense. I said this on last Monday on the KSR podcast that if you could live in an alternate universe and have the exact same plays against Texas with the exact same defense, and you played it again with Tennessee's defense, we would score points, and it came to fruition that we scored points. Texas defense is way better than Tennessee. Tennessee is not a great defense. Coach Stoops might finally have, he finally found a quarterback, and he's probably on his way out. Thing is, if you spend all day coaching basic shit, you don't have time to do. AJ, that's what people, I don't think fans get. That's because it's nice to have former players say stuff like this, so you guys as fans can hear it, not just from me. When you get to college, we don't have time to teach you how to backpedal. You better already have that tool in your toolbox. You probably do, because you wouldn't probably be recruited. There are certain. It's like when you get to college, and I'm an engineer. When you get to college and you're taking calculus, they don't go all the way back to algebra 1. They expect you to be ready for calculus 1. When you get to college, they don't expect to have to teach you how to take a drop, how to fire off the ball, how to tackle. I also, as an agency, I don't have time to coach intelligence. Either you have it or you don't. Now, here's the thing. You can work to gain an IQ by film study. But a lot of guys get away with being the best athlete on the field in high school, and they don't develop that skill of how to watch film. Because a coach ain't got time to teach you how to watch film either. On top of that, not everybody watch film the same. Not everybody learn the same. For example, I'm a visual learner. So for me, watching film and going on the practice field and having a scout team run it, even though they might not run it perfectly, I get a bead on, that's the route concept that Tennessee likes to run. Got it. I understand that the people running the routes are not as fast, not as skilled, not as polished as the actual team, but the visual of seeing the route concepts is what locks me in. Then reading scouting reports, what they like to do on first down on this side. Like, here's the thing. I cannot imagine how much information these kids are getting now. When in 1993 to 1996, we got a scouting report. And I read through all of that shit. And that was hard for me because, like, I'm a visual learner. But for me, I was so scared of losing my one-on-one battle. Sometimes you have to do things that are uncomfortable. Joe Brady or Kevin Shepard from LSU head coach. Brady practically won their NC for them. No, Joe Brady, yes. I won't say practically. I think he did. Joe Brady was the reason why their offense was great. And here's the crazy part about it. Joe Brady is not the OC if Sean Payton doesn't, from what I hear, basically made Orgeron hire him. Shepard is Detroit's DC and former LSU player. Cobby, you were right. I'm gonna just tell you, you can say it's Brian Kelly's fault. That offense sucks. And I'm shocked that offense sucks. With Nussmeier coming back. You can say it's Brian Kelly's fault. Those players on that field played horribly. Defense started falling apart once the linebackers. Nick, you done hit it. You done hit it, Nick. I don't know how long you've been perusing my airwaves, I guess is what. But I've said, you guys know D Square is my favorite Stoops era player, and there's things that we lost when we lost him and Jock out the middle. We never totally regrouped because when D-Jack went down last year, that was the end of that year. Tennessee fans I know were really impressed with Cutter. I hope Hypo isn't it. Look, Scott, I don't think Cutter would go to Tennessee. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's his destination. Here's the crazy part, and this is the tough part about being a player is, do I want to start all over? See, the great thing about him being at Kentucky is he can be the catalyst of helping keep guys here. Like someone had said earlier about keeping the Miller boys, keeping Jason Patterson, he can galvanize and keeping Will Rod. Will Rod is a Kentucky boy. Like they can galvanize of trying to keep these players here and trying to win it for Kentucky, depending on the coach. Now they got to bring in the right guy, whom when they meet with that coach, they feel the vibe and is comfortable with it. But Cutter could be the catalyst in the 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 gravitational pull to keep more people here. I don't know if he's the best linebacker, but he's the best guy. I don't know how to say that. Best linebacker and talent wise, I don't think so. But that dude was a dude. He was a playmaker. That's what you say. Best linebacker is tough for me because then what's your criteria? Because Jamin Davis, Trevin Wallace were way more athletic. D-Jack was bigger and probably a thumper. I don't know. Here's the Scott says. See, y'all got me going too long. Scott said, "Oh, as the regulars know, this can last an hour." Scott said we should debate on who decided to play on offense this year. See, this is the problem with us compared to other people. There are a lot of teams that make bad decisions on the portal and whom gets the money. The bad part about us is when we make a bad decision, it's amplified because we ain't got that kind of money. So when we miss, it's like it's bad. When an Alabama shit, I keep saying this, and I don't. This is just who I am. Like there's some people who say shit on Twitter who won't say it to your face. If I'm gonna say it here, I'm gonna say it to your face. Huh. I don't know if I'm. I just got kicked out of um TikTok. I don't know. Um, when we miss on a guy, it's felt more than the big boys. It's like you don't think some of these bigger schools have missed on players. And like I said, I will say it to face Barry and Brown went to LSU, and his numbers are not good. Can I get it? Yeah. The great thing about what's the backup center's name from West Kentucky? The great thing about him, he has multiple years. I agree with you on D Square Nick. Like I said, he is my favorite player of the Stoops era, and we've had some great players, but I go beyond just stats. Just like Chuck Hayes is my favorite Kentucky basketball player since I've been affiliated with Kentucky. It's gonna be interesting, y'all. It is it is it is like I said, it is an interesting time because I'm gonna tell you this, and I wish that this can get to the players because I've been I've been there. I lost fucking 12 games in a row. But if enough of y'all stick together, and all you gotta do is win the next week. Because the great thing about it is everybody outside of Joe Kraft is saying y'all suck. It's saying like someone like y'all not worth the money. But for y'all, I have not given up because like I said, we're 2-5. I had us 3-4. So it's not like I had us at 5-2 at this point. I had us at 3-4. And if you win next week, which can bleed into the next week, we're bleeding to Tennessee Tech. Like 5-5, y'all, push you in a situation where y'all are playing. Look, all the look. I would say this: my senior year, we were 1-6. They fired Coach Curry. We won the next 3 games. Next 3 games, one was against Vandy, Mississippi State, and Georgia. We run 3 games in a row. So it is not impossible. It's not out of the realm of possibility because this is when I said y'all had to make y'all hay anyway. These next 5 games, y'all have to win 4 of them. And I said that when I had us 3-1 after the first 4 games. That's how I got to 7. It wasn't shocking Texas, Georgia, Tennessee. It was winning Florida, Auburn, Tennessee Tech, and 1 out of Vandy and Louisville. That was my thinking within the year. And if you win 1 out of those and you win the first 3, that's how you get to 7. That's how I got to 7. So I know that, see, people wanted Stoops out before this year. So it ain't because of y'all. Y'all stick together. This offense is ticking. Y'all play better defensively. And y'all win next week. Y'all 3-5. Then you go to Florida at home. You win the SEC game at home. Now you're 4. Then you play Tennessee Tech. Y'all, that's how you get the 5 wins. And then the momentum is picking up because your offense is playing better. Scott, Macklin's getting 6 figures. Barry Brown is getting, I've heard more than that. And LSU had aspirations of going to playoffs, and that ain't going to happen. Tanner, here's the deal. And I've been saying this for weeks now. The thing about Auburn defense that scares me is them fuckers play the best press man maybe I have seen in the country. They put pressure on the receivers and pressures on the refs because they are physical and handsy and they are going to make you work. So how do I think Cutter would do? It depends on how his receivers do. And I would say this, and we'll go through it in a minute, is Cutter is starting to understand what is expected of him from Bush. And Bush is also, this is the bad part about it. This is when I know there's some synergy between the OC and the quarterback. As I've said many times before, there's 2 relationships that need to be on point on offense. The offensive coordinator and the O-line coach, that's number 1. Because if y'all ain't on board together, it can get ugly. And the offensive coordinator and the quarterback. When we started going empty, I know that's what Cutter feels comfortable with because that's probably what he ran in high school. So with that is a level of we are meeting in the middle. We're gonna run some things that you like to run, even though that's not totally in our. I'm not totally comfortable calling empty sets because I don't know if we can hold up with the front 5, but we ran it. And I think that level of communication and synergy is starting to present itself. The level of comfort of those 2 with each other is starting to present itself. And that's why you scored 30-some points. Why he had 5 touchdowns. Auburn's going to boat race. All right. Have you not seen Auburn play this year? Bush called a good game. I ain't been a fan, but he's been. Look, Tanner, I've been saying this since day one. Everybody wants to blame the OC. And it's not that he does not go without blame. Like those 4 plays last week were horrible. But the rest of the whatever 70-some plays, he called a damn good game. Same thing here. He called a pretty good game. Are you gonna be perfect? No. There are some plays I know he'll want back. But the grand scheme of things, your quarterback was, what was he? He was 31 for 39. He was 26 for 35, 20 something. Your quarterback the last 2 games have 74 plus percentage completion rate the last 2 games. Is that, see, for me, I always say that's the player on the field executing. But if the fans are saying, coach, 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 well, you got to give that guy some credit. Because if you feel like it's the coaching, that's the reason why we were not scoring more than 2 touchdowns when he does it, then that's 22 low. That you right. DJ Durkin is aggressive as hell. Auburn's one of the best defenses. They are top 5. They're a top 5. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that is that their offense isn't good. They just had to change quarterbacks. So again, like Scott is looking at stats. Go watch the game. If you watch the game that Auburn played last week, your opinion would change. So he was 26 of 35. He was 31. So that's 57 of 74. He's been 57 of 74 the last 2 weeks. 57 of 74. 57 divided by 74. That's 77% completion. That's high level, y'all. And if he could erase some of those turnovers, that's elite football. That's elite football. Oh shit! 22. All right, I see your letter now. I see you. All right. I think YouTube changes you, Kendrick. I don't get it. I don't get it. Um. So you know DJ a lot then. Weak Matt, it doesn't matter. I think the writing on the wall. Weak Matt, as the offense goes off these last 5 games, then what UK do about the coaches? This is shit, man. I love the questions. That's why I keep going. Look, this is my opinion. I think Stoops is done, bro. I think Stoops knows what the loud part of BBN is saying about him. And like I said on the post game show, head coaches are responsible for more than just himself. He's responsible for the coaches. He's responsible for the players. I don't think he wanted to have another offseason putting those guys through the same thing they've gone through this offseason. So I'm gonna say he's gonna bow out gracefully. There's gonna be I think there's gonna be a meeting of the mind. He's gonna find a way where whatever the separation is gonna be a amicable separation and it benefits both parties. I think that's what's gonna happen. Scott, I hear you and I can't argue. You have every right to believe that way. All I'm saying is this Auburn team, just like last year, where we was up 10-0 and should have went up more than that. This Auburn team is not. Okay. See that Tanner's going to firing Bufano. And I hear you. And my uh my kickback to that is, how long has Bufano been at Kentucky? He's been here a pretty long time, right? Um I feel you. But we also had some good safeties while he's been here. Like Yusuf Corker was a favorite of mine too. Um he coached some good safeties. Um the current ones have been disappointing. What's your feelings on analytics? I hate analytics. Stoops after games and analytics book. Oh my god! Look, see, I someone sent me that, and that was the catalyst of me saying he's done, because there was no reason to go for two. I would like to know what analytics say go for two in that situation. It makes no sense. There's no benefit. There's no benefit. Like, you're still down 3 scores. I don't get it, man. But let's get into this. Let's get into this film. I'm gonna say this as we get into it. As a guy who understands the importance of these guys, if I was one of them, I would be livid, like highly livid at these guys. Highly, highly. I know it's a team game, but those guys right there, I would be pissed off, because these guys, for the most part, did their job. These guys, not so much. And it's hurts me, because these guys here are my position, and they stunk it up. And that's just no other way to put it. When that front three doesn't allow another line of scrimmage to be created, they allow linebackers to flow. Until the last drive, I'm pretty sure, because I looked it up, Tennessee averaged like 2.1 yards a carry. It might be 2 point something yards a carry. That means that front, that's great deep. That's a yard, y'all. It's 2nd and 9. It's 2nd and 9. And if we're playing single high safety, this safety deep middle, this right here, it's just bad, y'all. It's just bad technique. Gets in your blind spot. He gets in your blind spot, and I don't understand. Tanner said, I went to the game last night really thinking we was gonna beat them. Tanner, I understand. I like the positivity. If you're in man to man, if and maybe he's not, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm looking at everybody else and they're in man. But let's say he's a man. This is your free safety. He's your robber. You can try to force things to him. If you are trying to force things to the middle safety, why do you allow him to get in your blind spot? Makes no sense. Nick, I don't I don't think he's looking at the quarterback. Because if he was looking at the quarterback, his helmet would be in a different situation. He's looking, it's a technique I don't like, but he's looking here. I feel comfortable saying he's looking there. Right? Because he allows him to get in his blind spot. My question is, why did you rotate inside and allow him to get in your blind spot? If you're trying to force him, if you're trying to force everything to here, why would you go inside? Like, it's a technique thing. And then when he gets in your blind spot, you're done. When a receiver gets into this position and you can't see him, you're cooked. And that's what happened. And Stoop says out in the camp that our DBs, that was a Scott, I said that was a bold faced lie. I'm them motherfuckers played one good game last year, and that was Ole Miss. They were not good last year. You return the same guys, you return the two safeties. I did not see, they had to prove it to me, and they have not. Coaches say all kinds of shit. Well, that's an outside guy getting beat. And I will say this because I do remember this play. Let me give credit to the other corner, though, as I remember correctly. This to me is damn good coverage. And this is how I've been saying this for a long time, is use the college rule to the advantage. Slow back pedal. He caught him, jam. That's in this right here. He won that rep. He didn't win many against Brazil, but he won that rep. So I got to give him his credit. I was always taught to open hips and a drop back, never 360 because it always end bad. Now, there are some high level NFL DBs that can do that. But here's the thing, in NFL, you have to do it because you can't touch them past 5 yards. So he played this to perfection. I think that's JQ. Quay, you cannot be scared to miss a tackle. Like, keep coming down. You stopped right there. You stopped closing the gap right there and just sat. That's too much yards. JQ gave you a small window. All you had to do was close that gap more, and it should have only been a 4 to 5 yard gain. Tanner, I don't know. Yeah, I remember that comment too. Sad he was excluded as his player personnel decision to pass per use. I know it's a pregnant pause, and I apologize because I am trying my hardest to stay at this tone, but this play bothers me so much because you didn't have everybody playing the same coverage. And it's unacceptable from a secondary standpoint. Everybody has to play the same coverage. And if you're not, that's a problem. A big problem. I want y'all to understand right now. JQ ass is toast. He's beat. Luckily for him, that he's not reading that because that's a touchdown. Okay. That's number one. We'll play it through. See that? He's 4 yards behind him. That's a touchdown. But that's not the only guy he had open. He had him open too. Now here's the part that is mind-boggling. Is we played a lot of single high safety. So he has no responsibility when everybody's playing man. And he sees this route going across the field and that DB trailing. So he tried to steal that crossing route. Okay. So that's what he's doing. Won't you also look at that? That is a hit on the quarterback. If we can just hold up in coverage a split second longer, all right? That's a hit on the quarterback. All right, so it looks like Nichols is beat pretty handily, right? But in all actuality, he's not in bad shape right there. He's in good shape, all right? But riddle me this. Why in the hell does he stop right there? Why does he stop right there and slow down? With the look, this is the thing about deep balls as a DB. You don't want to be right on top of the receiver because you want them to throw the ball. The deep ball where they got to throw it up in the air and it's got to travel, it's time for you to make up ground and to potentially get a pick. This ball was in the air a long time. If he doesn't slow up right there, if he keeps running, watch what his ball. See, that ball was not perfect. He had to slow down. All right? And he is about 3 yards away. He was less than 3 yards away here. Right? It's the 10-yard line. He's on the 9. He's probably 2.5 yards away there. If he doesn't slow down, I'm not sure that's a touchdown. But for some reason, there's no confidence in the coverage and knowing what you're supposed to do. He fucking stops. Why would you stop? Not only does he stop, he starts to peel off like he's going to take this route. Which, no. Because there is a cut up I did where they do switch, but this is not that one. Oh my God. Like I said in the cut up, this is decisiveness. Look, for me, when you are decisive, there's no right or wrong. There is a better best, maybe. There's a better best, but there's no wrong when you're decisive. Because whatever you saw made you make this decision, I love it. Keep us ahead of the chains. Don't say that, Tanner, with all the gambling stuff that's going on. I hope he didn't have money in the game. So we're in 2nd and 1. That's winning on first down. Like I've said many times, he has to be a factor in the zone read. Now, this is not a read. It is a design take, and that's a really good block by Dante. Now, Cutter's got to run with confidence and not tiptoe. See that little, right when he gets to about the 35-yard line, he stutters. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. If Cutter hits that thing full speed right here and cut, you got to read your blockers. Still, first down. Feeling good. Got to block, y'all. Got to block. And we got to, I know you want to press and get to the outside because you don't want to cut into all these bodies coming. But you also got to read your block. And here, the best option was to get here and get as many yards as possible. Not to run outside because he's blocking them outside. I'm still going to say this was the best throw. There are throws in this game in the first half a lot where he doesn't make this throw early in the season. He sees this linebacker buzz the flat. He know that since he buzzing the flat, that there's a window. There's a window. That's horrible. I'm about to draw it the regular way. There's a window between that corner and that safety that he can fit a ball in right there. Because the guy who would naturally have that hook is him. And when he buzzes a flat, that means that zone is there. And what I like about it is he sees that guy turns his shoulder and buzz, he's throwing it now. That's perfect timing. I know the result isn't what you wanted, but if he puts that ball, if Will Rod catches that, bruh, whoo, that's a pretty ball. I like decision making and making the right decision. I do. Making the right decisions. That's awesome. That's awesome to me. The results, you want the results to be positive, but I look at procedures and process, then results. He made the right read and made the right throw. The results, the end game wasn't what you want to see, but everything that led up to the end game was chef kiss. Gotta get open, guys. Gotta find a way to get open. This is not bad. That's not bad. Now, all you gotta do, how I was coached, is make them snap the ball. Continue to make them snap the ball, and then eventually they're going to make a mistake. Either they're going to get a holding call, offsides call, a sack, a TFL, whatever. And when we make them make a mistake, that's when you pounce. This right here, again, these guys here have been playing their ass off. I mean, you can look at Gusta, you can look at Saunders, Humphrey Gray, Gasson. Like they are playing ball. That's a 2 yard loss. So it went from 2nd and 5 to 3rd and 7. Now we got to win one-on-one battles. And we sent 6 and they fucked up. This to me is an easy pickup, but these two guys, this guard and the running back, were on 2 different pages. They are blocking Afari, and they left Rayner open. Don't know why. Miscommunication. And we pay. That's the thing. Everybody miscommunicate. You know what's crazy? Now that I say that, everybody miscommunicate. You know what's crazy? And I know we don't care about the other team, but These boys over here faced a offense that have not scored 2 touchdowns in conference, and they gave up 5. It's like early in the year in high school. Give me a second. Like early in the year, my high school team, we gave up 57 points, but the other team gave up 66. And I never forget, our defensive coordinator, mom, texted him and said, "You know what? I know you feel bad, but I wonder what the other coach feels like." Right? These guys over here gave up 35 points against all offense. They are the first team to break the streak of 2 or more touchdowns. So they didn't play very well either. The only difference is they had 2 turnovers that resulted in 14 points. We didn't have any turnovers. That's the difference. Not difference in the game, but that's the difference in the perception of that defense. Because, I mean, even though they scored 50-some points, I mean, honestly, 14 was on the offense. And I want to give Patterson credit on this one. This ain't the one to give him credit. We blocked the shit out of him right here. He doesn't get touched for like 7 yards. Boom. That's the first time he gets touched. That's the O-line. He has to find a hole, but there are other plays later in the game where he shows his vision. That wasn't the one. Y'all, it's 2nd and 4. It's 2nd and 4. They bring all of these guys because they're in a green dog. They bring every one of those. They bring 7 guys. All right. Here's the problem. They bring 7 and they go man free. Cutter's not stressed out. All right. He's not stressed out. He's got time. All right. It's 3 seconds and there's still no one at his feet. The problem is we don't win a one-on-one battle anywhere down the field. When you got one-on-ones and they bring in 7, you got to win a battle, y'all. You got to win one of them. And we didn't win one. Not a damn one. That's not good. Then we got holding. So we 2nd and 19, right? You got a holding call. This is a dot, y'all. That is a B. That right there is what gets you excited. On the money, extended the play, gets it to 3rd and manageable, which then makes them jump outside. Now I'm going to say this, y'all. You can praise them one play, but this is shit T. Where's my dot? Lost my dot. This is shitty by these guys, and in particular, the guard in the center. All right, they are showing 5, which, dude, we got overload here. So it should be, I wish Jorge was here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They mugged it, and it should be a simple blocking scheme, right? Even with the twist, right? But for some reason, either the tackle's supposed to get here, and that's the quarterback man, But it still makes no sense. That should not have been a free guy on Cutter. Thank God the defensive end jumped. Like, this is just a tough. Like, why did we miss that line? That linebacker. We got a duo. We got a duo, and linebacker should dictate coming off of the duo, but we don't. So he shoots the gap, and now we're done. Again, y'all, there is a technique to the screen game. And I had to do a cut up on it because there is a technique to it. And it was not good for the most part. That was a great job by Wally. So now, whom are we blocking? Miller's got to do a better job on the corner. And we have two guys out here, and we missed on the guy. We had a receiver out here, and we missed on him. So we call a great play because if you make that block, we Gucci. Like, it's that close. You got to win your one-on-one battles. Now, this is unfortunate. I'll go for the end zone. And I like the decisiveness because it's not the bad option, but I want to show you what was the better choice. The better choice was here. Like I said, if he's reading, I want to know who he's reading. If he's reading this defender, that defender is going to the flat. If he's going to the flat, it is an arrow curl. If he's going to the flat, you throw the curl. That's the throw. But that's a great individual play by Tennessee. Now they go up 14-0. It's good ass run on first down. We get ahead of the chain. Now let's see what we can do at 2nd and 6. Oh, now we got them. We got them, y'all. This was the perfect call for what they did. I want y'all to understand, on defense, you want to have 3-on-2. You want to have one more defender than they have eligible receivers. So you got 3-on-2. That's perfect. Now the problem is when Kendrick rolls out, they need another guy over there. You want to be 4-on-3. All right. They actually turned out to be 2-on-3 because they blitz this guy and they don't have the ability to check out of it. Watch. That guy's coming down and he blitz. Now they're in a bind because now they got 2-on-3. 2-on-3 is a mathematical advantage for us. So now all you have to do is have your two guys block their two guys. It's ball game. And Kendrick Law does a great job of setting up Maclin right there. That move right there. That inside jab made this defender have to respect the inside move. Allow that seal. You got a seal. The safety comes under. And it's to the Krizak. That's simple. Boom. Boom. Good seal. Good 2-block. Hester got a twofer. Now we in the game. Y'all. 14-7. We in the game. Good pressure. Now we got to make a tackle there. That right there cannot happen. You cannot miss that tackle. And if you're going to miss it, you got to force them back inside. If you're going to miss the tackle, you can't let them go outside. You can't fall to your knees. That's a bad miss. 2nd and 6. Look at the big boys. Another line of scrimmage. It's 2 yards on their side of the line of scrimmage, maybe 3. Nowhere to go. 2-yard loss. Right? 3rd and 7. Can we get off the field? For all the people who yell at, oh, we didn't press enough. Well, you only remember the bad plays. We brought 4. We cover our ass off in the back. There's nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Now we get off the field. Now, as someone said earlier, they went to the game, felt like we could win. I said right here, we just scored. And we gave them 7. So in my estimation, it's 7 to 7 to 7. That's their defense. That's our offense and their offense. So I feel good right now. Because we just drove down the field. Really, not easy, but pretty convincingly. If you watch this tunnel screen compared to the tunnel screen we're going to show later with J.J. Hester, you will see that Harley Gilmore has to press this corner. I like 2 yards before he comes back and take the screen, because then it lets this guy play more honest, gives this guy a chance to get here, and get this guy a chance to get there. When you rush it, the defense sees it, and now you're in a problem. He saw it because you didn't press. Now we're in a problem. That's, if you ask me, that's more on Harley Gilmore than anybody else. Third and 12. Same thing here. This is a rub route. Watch. That's a rub route. And if Miller drives more outside, force this guy to feel threatened, then you come inside, I think this is a play. But Miller Cam doesn't press him outside. See how it only takes a couple steps. He's got to make him uncomfortable, potentially open his hips, and then come back inside. I think if he does this, he doesn't make that tackle because he's not going to be close enough. As someone said, Brad White said he let these guys out. If they were playing coverage, whatever coverage, he will still be kind of locked on this guy. And the bad thing about this coverage is this, is right there. And I can't see, but like I said in the cut up, if he's on the bottom of the numbers there, and you are in great shape, Nichols, you got to ride his ass out of bounds. You got to be physical, get into his chest, and push his ass out of bounds. And I know he didn't do that because of he's on the bottom of the numbers. He's between the bottom of the numbers and the sideline. He didn't get physical with him and force his ass out of bounds. That's what you have to do. And because he didn't do that, Aguilar throws a good ball. Big play. We get an offsides. You cannot let him get outside, Ty. You got to force him back inside. See, like this. Y'all. Team defense means you are not trying That's a bad way to say it. You are trying to force him to your teammates. You cannot let him get outside. So sometimes you got to you got to sacrifice yourself while trying to make the tackle to make everybody else's job easier. Ty's got to come here and force this receiver back inside. He cannot let him hit the sideline. You cannot get turned. That can't happen. That's 4 more yards he got because we did not turn him inside. Now, if you turn him inside and your brothers don't, and they fuck up, well, you can look at them. I love this right here. That is a way to come up and smack his ass. Now we need people to get there. That's the hardest thing about Tennessee is they get it so wide. But we cannot wait. See right here. If Jordan Lovett comes with aggressiveness and stops sitting and takes his shot and forces him inside, it's a tackle. We got to trust that our teammates are going to be where they're supposed to be. I think there was a holding call on that. But then we get to here. Again, understanding the scheme and where your teammates are. As we talked about earlier for an hour, conversing with each other, is what is a Jimmy and a Joe? If you really know the defense and you know that this guy has contained, you will come and spill the shit out of this. You don't have contained. You are coming inside and spilling it to your unblocked teammate. Wheat Mac has just said the one thing that is the hardest thing and the one thing fans complain about the most. Wheat Mac says, why do DBs have such a hard time getting their head around? All right, Wheat Mac, here's the deal. I'm going to tell you how my coach taught me in college, the great Rick Smith. And these are not his words exactly. But he would say that you cannot turn your head around when you're beat because you got to make up the ground. Now, people say, well, if you turn your head around, the ball is underthrown, you could pick it off. Well, you don't know the ball's underthrown. Here's the other thing. This is coming from me. The disadvantage that wide receivers have on DBs is when they have to look for the ball. There's no 100-meter runners that run and turn their head back because you know why? It inherently slows you down. So the advantage of a DB is when you get beat is to run to the receiver so you can make up that ground. You haven't earned the right to turn around because you got your ass beat at somewhere in that route concept. You got beat. So you haven't earned the right. So therefore, you can't turn around because you're playing catch up. So how would I know as a DB when to turn around? It's hard. Now, when a DB, if I can get my hands on a receiver and I am, as we call it, in phase, and I can make contact, I can squeeze into the sideline, then I can look back and find the ball. If I'm not in that position, you cannot look back. Because if you look back and you are a yard behind the receiver, you will never close that yard because you're both looking back. That's the only time you can catch up with a receiver is when they're looking back, they inherently slows down and you can catch up. When your ass is toast, you're toast. You cannot look back. That's just, you gotta, in essence, play hands. Now, I have a technique that works. I never had to do it in the game, but I had to do it in practice. As a DB, if there's any young DBs listening, when you are running down the field and your ass got beat, and you are 2 or 3 yards behind the receiver, 3 yards is a lot. If you 2 yards behind the receiver, you're playing catch up. You're sprinting like you don't know what. When you start closing that gap and you feel like you are about to touch the receiver, all you got to do in that situation is do a jump. When you jump, you turn around and you can hit the receiver. But as long as your eyes are back to the receiver, to the ball, when the ball is thrown, if it's close to him, they won't call you. Oh, what if you're not beat? That's what I'm saying. If you're not beat and you get in contact with the receiver, then you can look back. The problem is there's a new technique that I don't subscribe to. Some guys like to look back the wrong way, in my opinion. But for the most part, the problem is there are a lot of plays where guys do it right that goes unnoticed. It's the ones where guys get beat where we're like, why didn't he turn his head? How many passes were in this game? There were like 60 passes probably thrown in this game. How many did the guys not look back when they were in phase, when they had the ability to look back? Like that's the kind of stuff. It does happen. Some guys are afraid. Some guys are. It's like the yips in golf. Some guys are skittish. But if you earn the right to be in phase, you should always look back. But there's the thing. You gotta be in contact with the receiver. So when you feel him, and there is no lie, there's good DBs will grab a little claw. So when you start pulling away, you know where he's going. There's secret techniques to all that. So we gave him a touchdown. All right. This, y'all, like I said in the cut-ups, this might be his best throw because, as I said, always, and I love that Bush is incorporating this. Y'all, it's the oldest route in the book. Arrow, curl. We just showed the interception where he had the same thing. This guy buzzes the flat, and he doesn't throw it here. He learned. I don't know if they brought the iPad out and saw, but soon as that defensive end, outside linebacker, right here, he can never be right. He can never be right if it's ran correctly. If he's gonna stay in the curl, you throw the arrow. If you buzz to the arrow, you throw the curl. The great thing about this throw is the timing of it. Like right now, it might not be clear for some quarterbacks if he's going to hold the curl or not. That ball is thrown when he is in front of the intended receiver. He's reading the shoulders of the defensive end. That is spectacular. That to me is growth. Decisiveness, knowing what you have, knowing who you're reading, making a decisive decision, and sticking with it. Here's the thing. Quarterbacks, some people wonder like, oh, that looks like a bad interception. On this level, and especially the next level, you got to trust the process. And if within trusting the process, the ball is picked, there's nothing you can do because the defense just made a great play. You got to trust the process and trust the scheme, trust the route combination that when a guy does that, that's your throw. If it ends up poorly, there's a such thing as a good interception. If they run a trap coverage and you reading a guy and that guy does something, you're supposed to throw it to the other guy and he gets picked because of trap coverage, you got to tip your hat to the defense. You got to trust the process. If you don't trust the process, is when you hesitate. Hesitation leads more to interception than anything else, and that would be a bad interception. But on that one, cut a trust the process and made a great ass throw. That was impressive. Now, I don't know here, y'all, why Caddis didn't block the end guy on the line of scrimmage. He's out leveraging Pete. Pete has no chance of getting there. Why did he run by him? This one, I don't understand. Because if he makes that block, that is impossible for him to scoop him and log him. It's impossible. That one was interesting because if he blocks him, and he's right here, and then he blocks him, we get to the outside. I don't know. That's weird to me. Something ain't right about that. Got to win one-on-one battles, y'all. Got to win battles, and we did. There's really no one open. Now we third and long. And we all know what happens here. Fumble. Here's the bad part about it. Just fall on the ball. At least we get the punt. Now they get the ball on the 10-yard line. Inside the 10-yard line. Now, it's hard, y'all. I don't give a damn how good your defense. If the opponent gets the ball on the 10-yard line. And honestly, the front is playing great. Look at Gusta. Look at Gusta in the middle. Look at Gusta in the middle. Watch the penetration he gets. They haven't given up. Boom. That center's like, damn. Like, we're fighting. AJ, it's not just us. I've seen some fucked up plays. That's not just us. Shit. Just like it's not just us that, yeah. Whew. Now, I don't understand why. I think that's shit. I forget the number. I think that's old. Why he went backwards? And I think there's a hole there. They didn't call. But good coverage. And I know this is not his job. But it's 4th and goal. Love it. Why are we backing up? Why are we backing up? You need to be, you have contained here. They're on the inch line. Take your ass in that gap. Take your ass in that gap. He created a soft gap by going backwards, and they ran right at him. So now, y'all, I'm feeling hopeless. Like it's done. We're cooked. This is great patience by Dante. Great blocking, great patience. Love it. So they're still trying to fight, y'all. Still trying to fight. I would say this, the old line isn't the reason. And now we get some hope. We win a one-on-one battle. Like I said, this is a DB faux pas. You cannot jam with the outside arm. It locks your hips. And here's the funny thing I want quarterbacks to understand. Once he's there, he's going by the DB. Like, if he's even, he's leaving. As a DB, if your shoulders and hips are still locked and he's even with you, watch how fast separation gets. 1, 2, he's beating them by over a yard. 3, or he's cooked. When he's even, he's leaving. That separation is ball game. So now it's like, 20-14. Still don't feel good, but at least we're fighting. Defensive front is still fighting. Look, y'all, the defensive front. I just wish they had consistency on the back end. Now, this, y'all, you're gonna have happen. Now, I don't know if they doubling, but whatever that is, it's hard for me to say because I don't get the full all 22. So I have to be hesitant with my analysis because I don't know what's happening. I wish I can get the end zone cutter every game. If someone can supply me with that, then I can give you better, more accurate commentation. Is that a word, commentation? So we got a penalty holding 2nd and 17, as I said. Make them snap the ball. Y'all, at one time in this game, early, it was 2 yards a carry. Defensive front is balling. 3rd and 16. You bring 4, everybody is hooked. And I've already showed this. Y'all, this is high level. This is high level coverage. And I'm not gonna go through it because we're almost at 2 hours. There's a cut up on it. And YouTubers, I will put the cut up tonight or tomorrow. I am still going to stay calm. But my blood pressure just rose. This is the best fucking drive in a long time. We got the ball on our -4 yard line with fucking 10 minutes on the clock. We all know how much time we ran off. Not only did we run off 8+ minutes off the clock, we also scored a touchdown. A touchdown to bring it to 28-21, which at that moment I felt like, wait a minute. Are you telling me we got a chance? Or are you telling me that we have a chance? Because we get the ball first come out of half. And we just put it on their ass. 96 yards. AJ, it's definitely the best drive of the year. But AJ, when have we had another drive like this? Dude, we ate up the whole fucking second quarter. And what I like about the drive with Bush is he did not get away from the run. Now, these are the kind of plays that I like from Cutter, but I also don't like because you got a guy right in front of you that's open. This ball is there too, but it's a longer throw. But I think that's Caddis. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. Right, AJ. So that's some years. You saying Benny, that's 2018. But the stick-to-itiveness to the run was huge. Now this is vision. Boom, boom. Good jump cut. Boom. That safety thought he had him. Dude, now y'all, we was on a -4. Sticking with the run, being consistent, not getting away from the run, even though we're down 2 tutties. Again, I want to know what he's reading. If he sees 5, this is just, y'all, I was taught this a long time ago when I was playing quarterback. If the linebacker's blitzing, You replace him with the ball. This is your route. You got to know where your, I know I say hot route. You got to know where your shortest route is in the best area. And we were fortunate that your shortest route was right there over the ball. Give him the ball. Boom. Give him the ball. Right there, you could have slid to your left and got on the ball. This is how you run fucking tunnel screen. This is all set up by the patience of Hester. This is textbook. Watch the patience. 1, 2. He gets, let's see if that's 2 yards. Yes, that's 2 yards. I say 2 yards. He gets 2 yards down the field, which allows these two guys the angle and leverage to block the two guys in front. Boom, boom. If he's not that patient, he doesn't get that. Was beautiful. That's the way you run a tunnel screen. The receiver's gotta be patient. You cannot be impatient. Try to come back too quickly, because then it doesn't threaten the corner in or the safety or the linebacker, whoever is responsible. This is recognition, and level of comfort within the route concept. He throws the mesh route to the right guy, and look what happens. Y'all, I want y'all to remember, we start at the -4. Start at the -4. And I know we're losing yards on the run game, but you got to keep them honest. You got to. Perfect throw. 2nd and 21. Let's get some of this back. Guess how many we get back? Get like more than, we get back to the original line of scrimmage. And I like this throw too, because if you don't like what you see down the field, and I think he really wanted this hitch to Miller, but this guy is in the throwing window and he doesn't want to chance it. So what you got to do, you got to take what they give you, check it down, let your athlete make a play. Boom. He almost do. If he doesn't get tripped up right there, he might score. I want you to understand that. If he doesn't get tripped up right there, he might score. Great play. So some people say, why you throw the ball behind in front of the chains? He threw it at the line of scrimmage. Should have gotten the first down. Almost did. Now this play is probably a week too late. Wish you could have ran this one last week. Cutter's got to understand that he's got to press the edge, get away from the scrum before he wants to cut it in. You got to press the line of scrimmage first. He's cutting back too soon. That's too soon. But I love the run. I'll take the run. Now this one, no, it's not this one. Next. Oh, it is this one. This, y'all, when I saw it live, I'm like, this motherfucker missed a wide open receiver. I'm like, Cat is just butt naked open. Butt naked open. I'm like, why did he throw it at Cat? So I'm like, no, 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 no. Yes, yes, yes. I'm 100% sure this ball's supposed to go to him. Just watch the play. I don't know why he didn't get to him at all. Because that is butt naked open. I'll take the touchdown. Great job by Hester. Woo, boy, if we would have missed that one, that's nasty. Now, this is some fucking bullshit. Y'all, when you have the momentum, you cannot let it go. You cannot let it go. And it's just a case of, can we not cover? Like, we are this close from getting that hand on. Look at that. Look how close we are to disrupting this. Look at that. We're right there. Come on, man. On the back end, we gotta find a way to do it. Now that's good defense. We got one. Now, this is actually a good job. Now, we gotta scream. We gotta scream up here. Because that's dictated. Now we settled. We came to chop off feet. 10 yards away, 8 yards away from close the gap. Keep closing the gap. Damn. You know what's crazy, Cobby Cobb, is how I know we only watch our games. We are not the only team that gives up points before half. Fuck. Tennessee just gave up an 8+ minute drive. If you watch other games, it happens to everybody. And I know it's your team and it's crazy. It happens on the Stoops all the time. But then we negate the times where we do it well because we only remember the bad stuff. I understand that's the narrative, and I can't fight the narrative, but it happens to everybody. We are not the only people that gives up points at the end of halftime. It's like like last week, we ran 2-minute drill to perfection. See, again, you watch us more than everybody else. I'm not gonna fight that fight anymore. But it's more than us. Gotta get there, gotta finish the play. All right, so now we're in 2nd and 6. And now we win this rep. We win this rep. It's 3rd and 6. I don't know what you can do in that situation, but I don't know, can you sub? But you can't put a linebacker on a tight end in this situation. You just can't. He's going to lose the majority of the time, although that was a great pass. And he was there. And this is some bullshit. I don't know the exact thing that happened because I lose sight, but the safety can't be that far away. Because I'm still trying to figure out where he came from. Because I think it's this guy. And this guy ran the corner off. And that safety's Love has got to be in much better shape. Much better shape. That's too far away. That's just too far away. That's afraid to get beat deep. And now this play is on a Afari, I think. But here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. And this is hard. This is why it's about Jimmy's and Joe's. IQ. I think this is JQ. JQ does a great job of forcing that guy out of bounds, which then should free you up. See, for me, it looks like they're doubling him because Lovett eyes on the receiver. But once that guy gets forced out of bounds, he gets hemmed up. Right there. Let's become a football player. Now, Fari, I don't think know the coverage because this drop is lazy as shit. He's supposed to be on that tight end, man to man, underneath. That's shitty ass effort. That's shitty ass effort. That's another situation of guys not knowing the fucking scheme. And I am proud of myself for not raising my voice on that series because I really want to fucking lose it. Because that right there is why we lost. Dude, it's 28-21. We fought our ass back in the game. We got 2 turnovers that led to 14 points. We clawed defense. I mean, you really want to think about it. Defense had periods of getting off the field. And you shit down your leg on the last drive. Because you can't fucking cover and you're not communicating on the back end. At worst, it should have been 31-21. But y'all have got to do better. When your defensive line is playing as well and as hard as they have played all year, they have been consistent with their effort level. You got to meet them. You got to meet them. And y'all not. Y'all are failing them. It's embarrassing. It's flat out embarrassing for the secondary to be as shitty as they have been. And this is not just a one game thing. This is an entire season thing. They just got exposed last night. That's all. They just got exposed last night. That's the same shit they have been doing all fucking year. There's a time where you as a player has got to fucking man up. Simple as that. You got to fucking man up. And when the big fuckers up front are doing their job, getting us in second and long, third and manageable, now it's your turn to eat. And y'all ain't eating shit. Y'all are fucking vegan. And it's frustrating. And I'm not asking for perfection. We all shoot for perfection. But damn. So what I know, and I'm going to end with this, and this is the shit that I can't say happened, but I was once a college athlete. And I was once on a team where the offense struggled. And if you have been in the locker room like AJ and I have been, there's a divide there, y'all. It really is, because it's offense and defense. It's not like high school. Like there is an offensive meeting room, there's a defensive meeting room. And when things go awry and you don't have the right leadership, dissension can happen. Finger pointing can happen. Placing blame can happen. And I have a strong feeling that after last week, there were some individuals on the defense that were pointing fingers at the offense. In private, there could have been some slide jokes made. There could have been some opportunities where you could go and say, all right, guys, we got y'all back, but it wasn't said. There are a lot of things that I think happened last week. That karma is a bitch. And it showed its ugly head last night. Because that fucking secondary and linebackers played like shit. It was embarrassing. And every defensive lineman should fucking slap y'all ass in the back of the head. Because that was embarrassing. I don't know a kinder way of saying it. It's frustrating to watch as a former DB, seeing the miscommunication, seeing the poor discipline, seeing not manning up and winning one-on-one battles, is not playing proper technique, doing your own fucking thing out there. It's frustrating. And at the end of the day, fans are going to say it's coaching, but I know when you go home and sleep at night, when you were in your room by yourself, if you've been honest with yourself, you know who the fuck is to blame. And if you are one of those people or one of those players whom are like the fans, want to blame coaching, you need to get your ass out of this game. Because the coach ain't on the fucking field when that motherfucker is running right by your ass. I know Coach Collins wish he could fucking play. Because I know he will fight like hell not to let that shit happen. But if you want to sit and listen to people and listen to your parents and put the blame on a coach when your ass out there and you're getting blown by, you need to look your ass in the mirror and make and be honest with your fucking self. Y'all sucked. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's flat out embarrassing. Especially, you can't say when the offense put 35 points on the board, your quarterback has started to find something. 5 fucking touchdowns. And that's your fucking answer. Y'all need to wake the fuck up and play with better pride. Like I said earlier, it's something where if the guy out jumps you, moss you, whatever, that's different. But when your ass is getting ran by, that's a whole different animal. All right. I don't want to say anymore because I've done a good job of not raising my voice and getting very ignorant right now because I really want to. But like, comment, subscribe. I hope all the TikTokers were able to watch the whole time. It's a weird thing with TikTok on OBS. For some reason, they keep banning me where they lock my account. So tomorrow, I'm going to try to do it on TikTok Studio, and hopefully that works. I'm going to work on that tomorrow, so hopefully I stay on TikTok. You can watch me on Instagram at LA Bluegrass, VStyle17 on Twitter, Driving with Styles on YouTube. I appreciate all of y'all who came in today because I know this was a hard one to watch because I know a lot of people have basically given up, and my appreciation, I can't say enough for all the guys who come on all the time. I appreciate you, and the new ones, because I had a couple new ones come on today. I really appreciate y'all for joining me and doing the banter for the first hour. That to me is a fun part. So like, comment, subscribe. I'm at 500 on YouTube, which is big. Now let's get to 1,000. If you're on the talks, on the Tickies and the talks, just go there and follow your boy on the Tickies and the talks. I appreciate it. I've talked long enough. I'm surprised I got it done in less than 3 hours. So, especially after talking an hour at the beginning. Hopefully I see the majority of y'all tomorrow. I know it sucks, but it's always nice to know the why. It really is always nice to know the why. And this offense is starting to gel. Now we need the fucking secondary and the linebackers to play better. I'm not going to talk in circles again. I'm out. See y'all tomorrow.